Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live experience here on the Twitch. This is Tunesday Tuesday with yours truly, Boston Chris. We are here for episode number 12 of Tunesday Tuesday. And today we will be chatting with my buddy Gabe Choate, who you were just listening to with one of his recent songs called Wish I Would Have Known. Tonight we will actually be talking to him about his brand new single, Look at the Mess. And we're going to get right into that very, very shortly. However, if you are watching this on YouTube later on, and this is only the interview portion of the show, and you would like to catch the entire replay of this radio broadcast, you can do so. There will be a link in the description below for you to do that, okay? So be looking for that in the description below. We're going to get into it right now with my buddy Gabe. Let's head over there and chat with him right now. Gabe, what's up, buddy?
Hey, not much, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How's your night going?
Going well.
Awesome, man. So Gabe and I we just met recently at a gig that you had in Emory, where you and Megan Irby were song swapping, which was a lot of fun, might I add. But
yes, sir.
You have a brand new single that's coming out, or is out actually, already charting and everything. It's called "Look at the Mess."
Yes, sir. Just came. I think we released it January 10th to U.S. It got released to the U.K. about a month before that.
Well, see, that's unfair.
Well, or Texas radio in particular really doesn't want you to send anything in December unless it's a Christmas song.
Oh, well, yeah, that's a fair point. They do kind of pause everything, don't they?
Yeah, they do. So it was.
Oh, I just lost you. Uh-oh. Are you there?
Yeah, sorry about that. Have you got me now?
I got you back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
All right, so a couple things
sorry about that.
I wanted to chat with you about before we talked about the new single. I've been looking at your bio here. First of all, you grew up or born and raised in Graham, Texas. Where's that at?
That is about 90 miles west of Fort Worth, out by a lake called Possum Kingdom Lake, which is kind of, everyone knows where Possum Kingdom is. No one knows where Graham is. So,
yeah, well, the Toadies kind of made that famous, right? Possum Kingdom.
Exactly. That is correct.
See, I didn't even know there was a lake by that name. That's interesting to know. But yeah, you've been doing the music thing for a long time, haven't you? Started in the 90s.
Yes, sir. I was living in Austin, Texas, playing in a kind of a grunge metal band called No Such Animal back in, I think, late '89 up to early '91, somewhere around in there. And then the band broke up, and I moved back to Graham, and ended up meeting my first wife, and then started having kids and all that. And then my playing was kind of sporadic for several years while my kids grew up. I would be in a band for a while and then out and then in and then out, and covering all kinds of music from blues to classic rock. And then about 20 years ago, I really started playing country. So
where's your love? Is country your baseline?
Man, at this point in my life, yes, I listen to more country than anything else. And a lot of that is just keeping up with all the fellow artists around to see what they're doing, and,
right.
Supporting them and all of that. And but I still put on some rock and roll every once in a while and listen to that. So,
well,
but yeah, I grew up a rocker.
You have a lot of rock vibes in your live show as well.
Yes, I do. Yeah, yeah. I do. I won't deny that. Yeah, I can't suppress that.
Well, that's what's great about Texas music, anyway, man. It's kind of a conglomeration of a lot of different styles and stuff, and like you're a heck of a guitarist too, by the way. I love your guitar playing.
Oh, I appreciate that.
There's a lot of bluesy elements in your playing as well. So how does that work with your country music?
Well, I try to. I just play my songs, and I tend to write country songs, but whenever I play lead guitar, it's going to be kind of blues rock. That's just the way that is. But of course, on my album, I had studio musicians playing and Nashville guys, Brent Mason being one of them.
Right.
And so, I didn't play any guitar on the album. My next one, I will probably play some, and that way you get that side of me a little more. So, but yeah, it's I just love all music to be honest about it, but and try to incorporate what all of it in my songs, and I tend to write country songs. I don't know if I could write a rock song at this point in life. I don't know why that is, but I might try. So
When you're playing live, though, like it's hard to suppress those bluesy rock elements, even when you're playing your own stuff. I bet, right?
oh yeah, exactly. Oh yeah. I'll play, and usually during a live show with my full band, I do have a lead guitar player, but I'll take 4 or 5 leads during the night, and they're all blues rock. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
so that's just the way it is. So
Yeah, I love that. And you talked about your record, man. This was your debut record. What was the name of it again?
it's self-titled. It's just Gabe Choate. I'd kicked around several titles, and then just decided, you know what, this is the first one. Let's just go like Zeppelin. This will just be Gabe Choate one.
I love it. And this record was produced by Dean Miller, right?
Yes, sir.
That
Yes,
is
sir.
ridiculous. Just for people out there, Dean Miller is the legendary Roger Miller's son. And I mean, Dean is a legend in his own right as well. So, what was it like working with Dean?
It was absolutely awesome, and just to hear his stories about his dad and his growing up and all of that. Because Johnny Cash was at his birthday parties when he was a toddler, and
Right.
his whole, because he was best friends with Johnny Cash, his dad was, and so he grew up immersed in country music royalty. I mean, he really was, and it was kind of funny. We were in Nashville, and we went to the Nashville Country Music Hall of Fame, and they had all of Roger's Grammys there. There was 11 of them. When we got to the studio, I said, "Hey, I saw your dad's Grammys," and he said, "Yeah." He said, "My mom never would let him display those at the house, so we gave them to the museum." He said that they felt that would be pretentious to have them out, so they gave them all these Grammys to the museum. So I
Wow.
thought that was pretty wild, and just shows you what kind of people they are.
Yeah, pretentious. My God, that's 11
Yeah,
Grammys. Come on now. What are you talking about? No,
exactly.
absolutely not. But yeah, I love that. That's cool stuff. But yeah, when you handed me a copy of the record when we met, I was checking out the liner notes. I always go to the liner notes. I'm that nerd, right? And just to see who
Yeah,
was
right.
on it, and I was like, "Oh my God, Brent Mason's on this, and Dean Miller produced it." And I'm like, "Okay, all right, so Gabe is serious. Let's go." Uh, so you mentioned another record in the works. When's that due to be?
Well, like I say, we just got this one pressed and got copies right before Christmas. So I am going back to Nashville sometime in June, and we're going to start working on the next one. Of course, I'm looking at you might catch a single or two off of that sometime in 26 with a release date towards the end of 26 or early 27.
Okay.
So I want to space them out about a year and a half apiece, just for financial reasons, if no other.
Well, yeah, not just
So
financial, but promotional is smarter that way too, because you can kind of spread. I mean, the life of a single is 90 days, 60 to 90 days, right? So I mean, you can get 3 or 4 singles a year, sometimes more.
exactly, and for an up and coming artist, that's really the way you want to do it,
Hmm.
because if I drop the whole album online, then what do I do for the next year? What do I promote?
Hmm.
So that's kind of the way we're doing it.
Yeah, and that's really smart. And I mean, you've got 3 songs right now that are all on the charts in some form or fashion. That's going to be
Yes,
quite an
sir.
honor, right?
It really is. And going into this, I had no expectations of charts. I didn't know what to expect. Um, Released the first single actually off the album was in January 1st of 24, And we were about 2 weeks in, and I wasn't really keeping up with it. I just like gave it to my promoter. And anyway, he calls me. He said, "Man, have you seen the chart?" And I said, "No, what chart?" So he sends it to me, and I'd made the Texas Country Music Association chart after 2 weeks on my debut single, and it was like, wow. And I've had songs on the charts ever since. So it's been really cool experience, and I owe a lot of that to Dean and Brent Mason and the guys like that, because we put out a hell of a record. I mean,
Yeah,
we really
it's
did.
really good.
I mean, I'm not bragging. I'm
You
not
should.
bragging,
It's a good
yeah.
record, man. I enjoy it a lot. I appreciate you giving us a copy of it, and man, I love it. It's true country, Texas country. It's got the right vibes in it, and you definitely have that touch of Nashville in there as well, which I think is important nowadays also.
Exactly.
So we have Gabe's pick this week, or Gabe's choice. We'll talk about that song here. So every
Yeah.
week, our special guest gets to choose one song that they can feature in addition to their current song as well, which we're going to play also. But you chose a song by a group called the Hattons, and this song is called Hell or High
That's
Water.
correct.
Why did you choose this, Gabe?
Well, they are, like I was saying earlier, I try to keep up with my contemporaries in the business. So I'll get a chart and I'll listen to every song that I possibly can. And the Hattons are also on my, they're in the stable with my promoter with Powerhouse Promotions. And so as soon as this song came out, I listened to it, and I was like, man, I love that song. It's a really good song. It's got all the elements I like too. It's a really good song. It just is. So
And we're going to play that after your current single, and we'll talk about that now. So take us into the room as you're creating Look at the Mess.
okay, there is actually a pretty cool story to this. In the fall of 23, I had went to a songwriter workshop that Mike McClure was hosting.
Okay.
And I got to write a song with Mike. I haven't recorded and released that one yet. I didn't feel like that one fit the vibe of this album, so it's going to go on the next one. But I was at this songwriter workshop, and I met a young man by the name of Gus Burns. And while we were kind of on a break kind of thing, he said, "Man, I got this idea for this song." And so we kind of separated ourselves from the group and went over in this little room, and we wrote that song in about 30 minutes. He had a lot of it. He had the theme and kind of the vibe down, and I kind of helped with the chorus and then the second verse. And I came up with that signature lick that you hear at the first. Of course, it's a little different with Brent Mason playing it than with me playing
Imagine,
it.
yeah.
But I came up with imagine. But yeah, I came up with the intro lick, and then about half of the chorus and most of the second verse. And anyway, we wrote that in about 30-40 minutes time. And at the end of this workshop, they kind of had a round robin where everybody got to play their song, and everybody gave us a really good reception for that. And I told Gus, I said, "Man, I'm going to Nashville in a few months to start my album. Do you care if I go ahead and record this?" He said, "Well, no, you're a writer on it too. Go for it." So we got to. That was that. I made 2 trips to Nashville to record the album, actually, the A side and then the B side. And this one was actually on the A side. And it was amazing watching those guys work. I mean, I've worked in studios in Texas before, and nothing against Texas studios. I plan on using them again. But Nashville, especially the guys that are A-list studio guys, I have never seen anything like it. They are so professional and tight and just get it done, get it out, and get to the next session. So, but they're really friendly guys, all business, but really friendly. And I just had the time of my life making the record.
It's going to be humbling when you hear like the geniuses around the room kind of putting their touch on your what you created. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And the way it kind of worked is I made a cell phone demo just with me and an acoustic guitar, and that was the work tape. And we were all in the control room, and Dean plays the work tape, and they've all got their lead sheets and they're making little notes, and they say, okay, let's cut it. And I went in the vocal booth, and they were in the tracking room, and we would play through it once and then record it, and then of course I came back and overdubbed the final vocal take later. But yeah, it was just amazing, amazing to see that happen.
I love that, man.
And the thing that's cool is being in those studios where Merle Haggard stood,
Right.
in that very vocal booth. I mean, it's just so surreal. It's just crazy.
I can't even imagine. I can't imagine what that would be like. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Gabe, I appreciate you coming on with me tonight. Where can people follow along with everything you have going on?
My Facebook, TikTok, now that it got saved, Instagram. I need to be more active on Instagram, but Instagram, of course, Spotify, iTunes is where you can find all my music. I have a YouTube channel that has all my music videos, and we'll talk some more about that later. Right? We've got some really big plans or some videos coming up. But yeah, Facebook is where you'll see most of my gigs posted. I've also got GabeChoateMusic.com that is up and running. I plan on getting the merch store fixed up on that so people can order some merch. But yeah, that's basically it.
I believe that it's at Gabe Choate Music everywhere, right?
Yes, sir. That is correct.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us before we head into the song?
No, let's hear it.
All right. Well, I appreciate you hanging out with me tonight, man. I'm going to end the chat, and then
Yes,
we'll
sir.
get right into the music.
Okay.
All right, Gabe, you have a great night.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye.